Yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
Curtis Granderson's name is on every bat given away today. It's bat day at the stadium. You know what? The Yankees would like to see their bats come alive as well. Their offense has been just a bit sluggish. As Hyundai presents the Sunday game of the week. Today, it's the Cincinnati Reds against the New York Yankees in the rubber game of a 3-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees Baseball, along with John Flaherty and David Cohn. I'm Michael Kay. A gorgeous day for baseball here at Yankee Stadium. And on top of that, we have an outstanding pitching matchup. Let's take a look at the Yankees starter today, CC Sabathia. He comes in at 5-1, and he has really been everything they want him to be.
Well, CC Sabathia had been on quite a roll, in the combination of the nasty slider and the power fastball away from lefties. He had won 5 in a row, all because of that pitch right there, that slider. But he had a little rough outing in Baltimore. He walked 4 in that ball game. That is not like him, and he gave up a long home run to Adam Jones, looking to get back on track this afternoon.
Let's look at the entire New York Lottery pitching matchup. We've already met CC 5-1, 3.77. Johnny Cueto is going to go for the Reds 4-1, a sparkling 1.89 ERA. And David, he is fun to watch.
Well, he is fun to watch. You think throwback, think Louis Tiant, because this style of pitching you just do not see anymore. The full back turn, show you my numbers, and then wheel and deal and come right around. Nobody's to that extreme anymore. The Yankee fans might remember A.J. Burnett with a little wheeling and dealing, but not like this guy. And he's got a great changeup off of that deception, that motion, a big part of his game.
Look at the ERA leaders this season. Brandon Beachy's at the top. Ted Lilly, former Yankee. Johnny Cueto at 1.89. And then Clayton Kershaw of the Dodgers at 1.90. So it's going to be tough to score runs, but this guy certainly helped the Yankees quite a bit. Raul Ibanez has been money for the Yankees. And John Flaherty is going to tell us why and how he's done it next when we return on Yes. This guy, Raul Ibanez, 264, 8 homers and 25 ribbies, but in the last 11 games, 308, 4 doubles, 5 home runs, and 13 runs batted in. That's John Flaherty. I'm Michael Kay. David Cohn will rejoin us in just a moment. Ibanez probably playing more games than the Yankees really want him to because of the injuries, but he has really responded, John.
Well, he's swinging the bat well, and if you think back to spring training, he had a terrible spring, but he got hot right at the end, and he's carried that on into the season. He's always been a hitter. When you throw it down and in like that curveball, he can rifle it into the gap or maybe hit a line drive into the seats. He will use the other side of the field when you pitch him up and away, but he loves the ball down and in, been one of the Yankees' most productive hitters.
And he's also been great in the clubhouse as well. CC always good in the clubhouse. They need to be good on the mound today to win this series. When we come back, lineups first pitch. Baseball. Reds, Yankees, next on Yes. By Pepsi Max, 0 calories maximum Pepsi taste. By the professionals at your Tri-State GMC dealer. Why just go when you can go pro? And by American Express. Welcome to the membership effect of American Express. Welcome in. And welcome into the Yes Network's broadcast of Yankees and Reds, rubber game of a 3-game set. Yankees have taken the field. CeCe's on the mound. Let's take a look at the Reds starting lineup, put together by manager Dusty Baker. Reds are 20-19. Chris Heisey, their left fielder, leads off. Drew Stubbs in center. Joey Votto at first. Cleaning up, second baseman Brandon Phillips. Jay Bruce is in right field. Ryan Ludwig, the DH, will bat 6th. Batting 7th, playing third base, Todd Frazier. Ryan Hannigan will catch. He's going to bat 8th. And batting 9th, and playing shortstop is the rookie Zach Kozar. Well, CeCe has started 15 rubber games for the Yankees in his career, and he is 9-3 with a 2.80, so the Yankees would like another such performance before they move on against Kansas City. Heisey against Sabathia. Let's do it here in the Bronx. First pitch is low, and we're underway.
The big fellow on the year, the 9th start of the year, 5-1, good record. The strikeouts are up this year, 59 and 57 1/3.
The 1-0 to Heisey. Popped up. Eric Chavez in foul territory. 1 out. Now, they do the roll call every single game here at Yankee Stadium, and Jack Curry is off today, but he is in the bleachers next to Bald Vinny. He's in the blue shirt next to the bald-headed gentleman. He's got his nephew Kyle, his 16th birthday, his wife Pam. So Jack taking part in the roll call. Doesn't seem like he's actually... Oh, there he is. And now Bob Lorenz has something to bother Jack about next time he's in the studio.
He's off rhythm there. He needs to work on that clapping.
All right, Coney, when you were out there, were you a little more energetic with the roll call?
Oh, yeah. I was screaming at Bernie. No, Bernie!
Drew Stubbs fouls it away.
It's on the bucket list now. I have to get out there. How about you, Michael?
I agree. I have to get out there. But they wanted Jack out there. They might not want us.
That's a good, very good point.
Vinny tells them to sit down, and they sit down. Very nice. They actually invited Jack on Twitter to come out and sit there.
A little scouting report. Carpe diem. CeCe Sabathia does seize the day. He's 11-1 with a 2.29 ERA in his last 14 day starts. Loves home cooking. 3-0 this year and 29-7 at the new Yankee Stadium as he blows some gas for another strikeout this year. And he's a workhorse too. I mean, Sabathia loves the daytime, loves pitching at home. Just a perfect Yankee left-handed pitcher. And 7.17 innings per pitch, innings pitched per 9 innings. And That's third in the American League. Justin Verlander is first.
Here's Joey Votto. Good pitching matchup, as we mentioned. Sabathia against Cueto. Pitch inside. Home plate umpire Tony Randazzo.
Well, this has all the makings for CC to have a nice afternoon. A couple of lefties in the lineup. The real power source for the Reds, Votto and Jay Bruce. Might be able to negate them with the left-handed arm of CC Sabathia. And also coming off kind of a rough outing. 4 walks, 6 innings in Baltimore. But hit around a little bit. 8 hits in that game. Looking to rebound from that performance and get on another run.
Buzz the fastball upstairs, 2-1.
David, pitchers always said, oh, I'm not pitching against the other pitcher, but he knows Johnny Cueto's out on the mound, one of the best in the National League.
Believe me, you notice, especially after the first couple of innings, how your counterpart is throwing.
Driven out to left center. Granderson is there, and he makes the play for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning. CC did it on 10 pitches. Reds nothing. And the New York Yankees coming to bat against Johnny Cueto. By Lexus, the captain, the shortstop, Derek Jeter leads off. Batting second and playing center field, Curtis Granderson. Robinson Cano at second base will hit third. Cleaning up third baseman, Alex Rodriguez. Raul Ibanez at DH will bat fifth. Batting sixth, playing right field, Nick Swisher. Eric Chavez at first base, bat seventh. Batting eighth, playing left field, Dwayne Wise. And Chris Stewart will catch, and he will bat ninth.
Get a look at Johnny Cueto on the season. His 9th start. What a start to the year it's been. That ERA very low. The walks, he's got great control. Just 10 walks in 52 1/3 innings. And the scouting report, wheeler dealer. I mean, that's in reference to his motion. I mean, he really turns his back to the hitter, almost like Louis Tion, the throwback Juan Marichal a little bit. You think about this style, you just don't see that style anywhere. And obviously off to a great start. You saw his numbers. That 1.89 ERA is third in the National League. Brandon Beachy of Atlanta is first. And the one chink in the armor, the lefty trouble. Lefties batting .314 up in this year versus righties who hit just .163. So Yankees got 6 left-handed batters in their lineup because of that. That's probably going to tell the story today.
Look at that. He's got a design carved into the beard. Very stylish. Derek Jeter leads off, leads the majors with 59 hits, and Cueto starts him off with a fastball low and inside, 1-0. .355 average, 400 on base percentage.
Look at Cueto out on the mound. He's listed at 5'10". You know, you talk to scouts all the time. They want those pitchers at 6 feet or more or taller. Well, Cueto goes against that whole philosophy. It brings good fastball, mid-90s, and really nasty sinking movement down in the zone.
Strike, 2-1.
Get a look at this sort of look down all the way around. Look at his knee is pointed right to second base. You could read his name, his number, and here it comes. very deceptive.
Yeah, David, you got to be pretty athletic to do that and find your release point. I look back and you see the no walks to lead off an inning this season. I think back to A.J. Burnett, who a lot of times would over-rotate, and then he'd fly open on the other side, and it would be counterproductive.
Yeah, most pitching coaches sort of, preach against this sort of a style, but he really controls his body. Very slow. He sort of glides out of that full turn. And that's the key, you know. If you can control your body and sort of gather yourself with the turn, and then glide out of it, and then explode and reach towards home plate, you could really hide the ball that way.
Derek getting a look at that sinking fastball, 94, and the other pitch that everybody talks about with Cueto is a good changeup. Sinking fastball, changeup combination.
Well, Granderson and Cano certainly seeing a lot of pitches from Cueto to Jeter, and that's what a leadoff hitter loves to do. But Derek will sometimes jump on the first pitch, but this time putting together a long at bat. Driven out to right center field. Bruce is there for the first out. Let's check out the Reds defense, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. We've already seen Bruce, so we'll start there. Bruce, Stubbs, and Heisey, right to left. Go the other way in the infield. Frazier, Cozart, Phillips, and Votto third to first. Hannigan behind the plate, and Cueto is on the mound. There's a strike to Curtis Granderson. Curtis Granderson bat day today. A lot of youngsters got bats with Curtis Granderson's name on it. Check out the weather conditions. Brought to you by Bigelow Tea. 73 degrees, 23% humidity. The wind is 13 miles per hour. And the forecast is partly cloudy.
Surprised it's only 13 miles an hour, the wind. Actually feels a little breezier today. And yesterday the wind was a factor on some of those fly balls. Remember, Alex Rodriguez hit a ball well to center field. The wind knocked it down.
Joe Girardi agrees with you, John. He thought that that ball was kept in. He also thought that Jeter's fly ball to right was kept in because of the wind. The 2-1. 2-2.
Sort of gusty, you know, that wind reading. It's kind of like a velocity on a fastball. You know, it averages 13 miles an hour. It gusts up to, I'm sure it's higher than that because we felt it in BP today.
Three and two.
There's that changeup from Cueto to the left-handed Granderson, the left-hander Robbie Cano paying attention.
Grounded to second for the second out. Today's closed captioning brought to you by Lexus. David, I look at Cueto and the way he spins on each pitch, and I would assume that put a lot of stress on his right knee.
Well, yeah, you have to have tremendous body control. And as Flash said, he's 5'10", but he's got a good build, thick lower half. He's really got control of that wheel and deal style. You have to have a really strong right leg, especially just to control the timing of it.
Because all of his body weight is pivoting on that right leg and knee. And Cano grounds one out the glove of the diving Phillips. A base hit for Cano.
As you said, Michael, it puts more pressure on your knee, and Brandon Phillips looked like it was going to get there. Actually does, but it's just off the web. but the way he uses his hips too. I mean, the good part is you really drive and use your lower half to the maximum effort. The other part is you know, wear and tear, as you said, Mike.
Here's Alex Rodriguez. A lot of talk about his lack of power, just 5 home runs. Joe Girardi said before the game, power is streaky. Alex could reel off 10 home runs in an eye blink. He said, I don't care how many home runs Alex hits. He said, I just care about the RBI. So I'm not looking for 45 home runs. If he hits 25 to 30 and still drives in 100 to 120, I don't care how he got there.
Well, that's fine. He's still back on the RBI total right now. 15 coming into this game. It's today the 19th?
20th. Yep.
Well behind the pace that Alex Rodriguez is used to. But like we talked about in the batting practice show, I actually like where his swing is. You know, you're kind of waiting for him to get one of those home run tears.
Rounded to short. Cozart goes the short way, and that will do it. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. The whirling dervish, Johnny Cueto, retires the Yankees without allowing a run. Brandon Phillips will lead off against Sabathia next. Defensive alignment brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. Wise, Granderson, and Swisher left to right in the outfield. Infield is Rodriguez, Jeter, Cano, and Chavez, as Teixeira getting another day off. Stewart behind the plate, and Karsten Charles Sabathia is on the mound. Here's Brandon Phillips. Brandon's not your prototypical cleanup hitter, but Dusty Baker's trying to get his best right-handed hitter between the 2 lefties, so it makes it harder when you go to the bullpen. There's a strike.
These guys had to play with each other in Cleveland.
Yep.
We're going to have a hitter scouting report on Brandon Phillips, and he's locked up through 2017. The Reds did that this offseason. And yesterday was his 500th RBI as a Cincinnati Red, and 3, the amount of Gold Gloves that he has. And I actually was reading he nicknamed his Gold Gloves. Never heard of that before, Coney.
Swing and a miss, and Phillips down on strikes. That is impressive, John. That's the first all-numerical scouting report I've ever seen.
Well, I thought you'd like that, a Fordham graduate. But, you know, let's get back to the Gold Gloves. Sweet Lou.
Okay.
That's the first one. Dilly. Don't really know where that came from. And Casper was the 3rd Gold Glove. So he likes to nickname his Gold Gloves.
And we don't know what they mean.
Well, I mean, I gave you the nicknames. I didn't go into that much depth. I figured Sweet Lou might have something to do with Sweet Lou Whitaker from the old Detroit Tigers. Great second baseman.
Breaking ball strike to Jay Bruce.
He's got a great attitude, you know, a good sense of humor. Brandon Phillips, that is, and, well liked on his team.
name any awards, Tony?
No. Not a big nickname guy, no.
So you probably hate it when people call you Coney.
Well, you know, I didn't make that up. I was saddled with it.
That's a big thing in baseball. Just add an E at the end of somebody's name, and that's their nickname. Noonie, Xavi, Robbie, the 1-2. Ooh, that didn't sound good. As Bruce will take first.
Anytime you have that check swing and the hands are exposed, you're a Cincinnati Red fan, you're going to hold your breath, but it looked like he got down the line okay, no problem.
Having some trouble pulling that glove off. A-Rod in the third base ump. Brian Gorman talking. Maybe they're giving Bruce some time.
We wanted to see if it was a check swing.
Because the rule is, even if it hits you, if you go through, it's a strike. There's Ryan Ludwig. Let's see if he checked. He checked. Ludwig has really struggled in the early going. This is his first appearance in the series. 183, 3 homers and 12 ribbies.
They really need to get him going. We talk about Votto and Bruce all the time in this lineup. Left-handers, they need some right-handed pop in the middle. Give them a little protection.
Crowd laughs as the ball boy hustling out in left field fell on his wallet. Wow. Kid's trying his best. And you know, fans around there probably giving it to him. Swing and a miss. Ludwig goes down on one knee and strikes out. Third strikeout for Sabathia.
Good looking slider. You know, Dusty Baker's trying to get Ludwig going, really struggling in the early going. You can see he reads fastball the whole way. Sabathia with that late biting slider. Always love that look the hitter gives out to the pitcher after you swing and miss, you know, as if, oh, how could you throw me that pitch? You know, supposed to throw you that pitch.
Supposed to be a man and challenge somebody with fastballs, Dave.
There's a fastball to Todd Frazier.
You know, when you watch CC this year, I mean, he's always had that really good slider, but it just looks a little better, a little sharper, a little tighter this year.
That's evidenced by his strikeout rate. The best in his career so far. Definitely up. Came in averaging over 9 strikeouts per 9 innings. 9.3, right on cue. His career 8.9. I mean, it doesn't seem like a big jump, but you know, Sabathia is getting more strikeouts, especially big ones when he really needs it. And as Flash said, usually with that tight slider.
Popped up shallow center. Granderson makes the play, and that'll do it. No runs, no hits, no errors. One man left. Coming up for the Yankees, Ibanez, Swisher, and Chavez in the bottom of the inning. Today's question: in what role can Aroldis Chapman best help the Reds? Been pretty good out of the bullpen. Text your vote to 42951. Standard text messaging rates apply. Is it starter, setup man, or closer? Find out how you vote a little bit later on. Here's Raul Ibanez. .27 hits for Ibanez, accounting for 25 runs batted in. He's had success against Cueto, 4 for 11. And a little preview of the Joe Girardi show, which will follow the postgame show today on Yes. Joe Girardi admitted that he was concerned the way Ibanez looked in spring training, and sought the counsel of our colleague Lou Piniella. Because Lou was scouting the Phillies a lot last year, and he said to Lou, you know, what's the deal? He goes, he struggles in spring training. Toward the end, he'll start to pick it up, and then he'll be fine. He said that's what happened in Seattle when I had him as well. And the scouting report from Lou was right on the money. But Ibanez really looked helpless for the first 3 weeks of spring training games.
You know, when we do those spring training games, I always talk about you want to struggle a little bit in spring training so you know what you have to work on to get better for the season. Change up away right there. And for a hitter, sometimes it's a mechanical thought. A pitcher, I'm sure, David, where when you struggle during the year, you have something to fall back to work on to get back on track. He found it at the end of spring training and has gotten off to a nice start.
Here's Nick Swisher.
That's a great point, Flash. You know, how many times have we seen guys just tear up spring training, and then when the light, you know, the bell rings or the light goes on, you know, the numbers reverse during the regular season. You see it time and time again. You do want that balance in spring training. And
what happens is it's a feeling like you go up there for an at-bat, you have a game, and you're completely lost. You have 4 at-bats where you have no idea what you're doing, and you panic because you don't know how to get yourself out of it. And if you can have that feeling in spring training, it makes the season a little bit easier.
Count 1-2.
Talking to George Granda, he does the TV for the Cincinnati Reds, a couple series a month, but he was talking about Cueto and this Louis Tiant move just to keep him back on the mound a little bit more. He was drifting down the hill a little bit too much, and an adjustment he made that is obviously working for him.
And he strikes out Swisher for the second out. David, you sometimes use that move, but you didn't do it exclusively. Why did you go to it when you went to it?
well, yeah, it's the same sort of a reason that Flash said. If I felt like I was rushing, or you just want to spend a little more time on the mound. I think Johnny Cueto does it probably more than anybody I've ever seen. Even Louis Tiant didn't do it all the time. A lot of times on 2 strikes, if he wanted to get some deception, maybe throw a slider, Louis Tiant would do it more. But Cueto, every pitch, has that sort of full turn. Kicks his knee all the way behind the rubber. You know, we've talked about it a lot, but it is very unique.
For our younger viewers that might not know Louis Tiant, 19 seasons in the bigs, 3-time All-Star, 2-time ERA champion, 4 20-win seasons, pitched with the Indians and the Red Sox. And he was a showman on the mound. And Chavez picks up a base hit. Watching Louis Tiant pitch was a lot of fun because, you know, he spun his back like that, or his back on the hitter, and when there was a guy on base, he would go to these repeated stops as he went to the stretch, which was pretty much a balk every time he did it, and they let him get away with it because that was his quote-unquote natural set motion.
Now, Cueto doesn't do it from the stretch position. Obviously, with base runners, it would take too long, and it would be much too easy to steal second base off of him. So much more conventional from the stretch position.
Dwayne Wise takes a strike outside.
Well, that brings me to a question then. Would it be tougher to him to stay back on the mound a little bit longer out of the stretch and maybe be prone to rushing and making some mistakes?
Yeah, I definitely think one of the keys to getting to Cueto is to get him in the stretch, because he loses all that deception from that big full turn in the windup. I think also that deception helps him more against right-handed batters than lefties, as evidence also by his numbers coming in, just dominating right-handed batters, but lefties over 300 off of him this year so far.
We mentioned he could not turn his back on the hitter with a runner on base. Well, what he does with a runner on base is pretty good. He has not allowed a stolen base in his last 25 starts. And those are Cueto's numbers last 4 seasons. Dwayne Wise strikes out as Cueto strikes out the side. Let's take a look at all of them. Raul Ibanez goes down swinging. Nick Swisher, same deal. Dwayne Wise strikes out, also goes down. Well, if you're hitting the road, take the Yankees with you this season. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Yankees out-of-market game live, online, and on your favorite devices in HD quality. Visit Yankees.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. We go to the 3rd inning. On the Lincoln scoreboard, there is no score. Yankees have 2 hits. The Reds have not picked up a hit against Sabathia. Hannigan swings at the first pitch and fouls it away. It'll be 8-9-1 in the Reds order against the Yankee ace. Reds are 20-19. They're 11-11 on the road. Sabathia likes pitching in daylight. Last 14 starts in day games, 11-1, 2.29 ERA. Line drive right at A-Rod. 1 out.
Hannigan can swing the bat behind the plate for the Cincinnati Reds. Doesn't have a lot of power, but a lot of line drives right at Alex Rodriguez. Good job on the fastball in the inner half, pulling his hands in. Kind of like his last name, too, so I've got to give him some props.
He could live in Pearl River, right?
Yeah, town of friendly people.
Here's Zach Cozart. 1 hit in his last 26 at-bats. 0-1. Rookie shortstop, one of their touted prospects. Reds have built up their farm system under GM Walt Jocketty. And then when players come up and they succeed, they certainly reward them with contracts, as we spoke about during the series with Votto, and guy they traded for, Brandon Phillips. So they will definitely go that route.
A pretty good guy to play for right there, Dusty Baker, players manager.
They gave Johnny Cueto a 4-year, $27 million deal. Jay Bruce, 6 years, $51 million. So they've got a lot of their important players locked up for 5 or 6 years. And Votto they locked up for 10, maybe 11 years if they pick up an option. 3-1. And Cozart, the number 9 hitter, walks. Here's Chris Heisey. He is 10 for his last 20 after fouling out to Chavez at first in the first. Reds are trying to find something, anything from their leadoff hitters. Yesterday, Heisey batting leadoff was 2 for 5. But as a team, their leadoff hitters have an under 200 on base percentage. Forget about batting average. Count 1-0. Doing some manicuring there, Dusty.
Probably the only manager in the big leagues with a double wristband look, too. That's just his style. Dusty Baker, as Flash said, a player's manager. He almost still thinks like a player. Loves to talk the game. One of the great managers to talk to before the game. He's always just one of the friendliest guys. Any topic, any subject. He's so easygoing, cool breeze, and that's why he's great with young players, because he shows confidence in them. And it's a good fit for this young Cincinnati team because he's not going to panic.
1 of 4 all time, at least 1,500 hits as a player and 1,500 managerial wins.
Came so close too, Dusty Baker did when he was managing the Cubs, to getting them through. You know, breaking on through to the other side, getting to the World Series. And goodness gracious. What a story. That's another story. What happened with Bartman.
That one gets away from Stewart, doesn't know where it is. Now he locates it, but by then Cozart has moved to second.
Well, Chris Stewart has been catching CC Sabathia pretty much exclusively his last 5 or 6 starts. Don't know if this was a hard changeup at 91 or maybe a two-seam fastball, something that went straight down. It's going to be a pass ball. Chris Stewart has had a few of those.
Well, that's, we talked about the wind here at Yankee Stadium, and it's all about how it knocks down home runs. It really affects the movement on the pitches when you're on the mound as well. A swirling wind, especially wind that hits you in the face when you're throwing into the wind as a pitcher, is going to give you much more movement on your pitches, as opposed to the wind that's going to be blowing, from your back towards home plate. When the wind's with you, you're going to have better velocity, but your pitchers will have less the movement. But if you're throwing into the wind, your pitchers are going to move all over the place.
The first name I think of, Tim Wakefield, always was concerned which way the wind was blowing, right, with that knuckleball.
Even more so, obviously, with a knuckleball pitcher. Absolutely. I remember pitching some games at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. And you talk about wind conditions. My slider felt like it was moving 8 feet on some days. There, it was just so hard to control. And obviously not Candlestick Park, but more gusty than you think today here at Yankee Stadium. And swirling type winds with this big upper deck.
Ground ball to first. Chavez is there for the second out. Moving to third is Cozart. So I want to make sure I understand what you're saying. If the wind is blowing out, it's better for the pitcher because the ball moves.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's not necessarily better. It's different. I mean, you're gonna have more movement on your pitches if you're throwing the ball into the wind.
And then the pitchers might travel more if they're hit.
Absolutely, the pitchers would travel more. So it's give and take.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of give and take, and sometimes for a pitcher you have to make adjustments. You might have great movement on your off-speed pitches or even your sinker, but you have to negotiate that. You have to change your aiming points because your ball's going to move more than normal. So it could be a bit of an adjustment trouble for pitchers as well.
There's Drew Stubbs. 0-1.
That was the thing about Wrigley Field. I mentioned Dusty Baker, the former Cubs, was a former Cubs manager, but Wrigley Field could either be the worst pitcher's park or the best pitcher's park. When the wind was blowing in at Wrigley Field and the infield grass was so thick, you could just lay the ball down the middle. You just fastballs all day, let them hit it.
Good fastball.
If the wind's blowing out at Wrigley Field, it's a nightmare. I mean, just pop-ups would leave the ballpark. So the wind conditions for a pitcher much more important than you would think.
Trying to get that fastball and slider in on the hands of some of the righties this inning, but he's left a few out over the plate. I don't know if he's a little quick down the hill or maybe falling to the third base dugout a little bit, but he doesn't quite have that drive inside on a righty or the slider down at the feet. We'll see if he can figure it out here. 0-2 with 2 outs.
The 0-2. Missed inside.
Good one right there. Probably the best slider he's thrown here in the third inning. Didn't get the swing and a miss, but he got it exactly where he wanted to. Stewart setting up down and in. Good miss on an 0-2 pitch.
Those are tough ones for a catcher, too. You see this ball going down, it almost bounces, so you got to figure out as a catcher, Flash, whether you're going to catch it or try to block it.
Looped into right field. Swisher is there, and that'll do it, so the walk does not hurt Sabathia. No runs, no hits, no errors. One man left. We go to the bottom of the third, and Chris Stewart will lead it off. Network Yankee games on your PCs or laptops with Optimum Online. Get a full season of live Yankees games on the go for just $49.99. If you're an Optimum Online customer who watches YES on IOTV, go to YesNetwork.com to get more information and subscribe now. No, that's not Hulk Hogan, but a facsimile. He thinks he is. That's important. And some people taking pictures with him thinks he is. Chris Stewart takes high 1-0.
Better put some sunscreen on that forehead, that guy.
Chris Stewart 6-3 as a starting catcher. And although Joe Girardi continues to insist that he is not CeCe's personal catcher, he has caught CeCe every single start other than opening day. That one is driven deep to left field. Foul.
You know, Chris Stewart has done such a nice job with CeCe Sabathia. Has swung the bat, gotten some RBIs. I think, what, he had 5 now on the year. But this is a bad draw going against Cueto offensively. And then you hit a shot like that and you pull it just foul. It's deflating as a backup guy.
That one is looped into right field, and that's inflated. A base hit. Stewart actually has a better batting average than Russell Martin, who's really struggling.
Well, Chris Stewart will take this. You see on our Lincoln scoreboard, no score here in the bottom of the 3rd. As a backup guy, you know your job is all about the starting pitcher, but you want to mix in some hits, and then you see Cueto's going against you right on right. You're like, oh, it's going to be a tough day. And you fight one off to right field, base hit, you're 1 for 1. It's all good.
And you're going to get a lot of facing pretty good pitchers as a hitter, because with Sabathia, they usually try to match up their best pitcher against him. Here's Derek Jeter. Fly ball to right in the 1st inning. Stewart had a big lead, had a really scurry bat.
You know, I remember there was a stretch when I was playing for the Yankees as Jorge Posada's backup where he was having trouble with Pedro Martinez. So Joe Torre decided to put me in there a few starts against Pedro. Thanks a lot, Skip. Appreciate that. But, you know, as a backup, you hope for like maybe a hit and run situation or a sacrifice bunt situation. Do something productive to help the club offensively.
Joe Girardi actually said today that Pedro Martinez was the toughest hitter, the toughest pitcher he had ever faced. Martinez and Randy Johnson. He had 1 hit against each, a little bloop single against Randy, and a home run against Pedro, which he ran into.
Pedro was so good that you felt, you know, Cueto reminds me a lot of him with some of his pitches with the fastball and the changeup. But if Pedro just wanted to throw off-speed pitches, changeup, slider, slurves, I would have had no chance. I'm sure Girardi felt the same way. But Pedro was proud that he wanted to almost embarrass you with the fastball, and he'd give up some hits.
Well, it's true. You do see a lot of Pedro Martinez in several of the young Latin pitchers, especially Dominican-born pitchers. And Johnny Cueto, obviously one of those guys. And there's a little bit of stylistic similarities, you know. And how could there not be? Pedro's so great for so long. And a lot of these young kids grew up watching Pedro, and you could see, even though Cueto's got his own little variation with his own, you know, hip turn, but the style, the stuff, the changeup, the type of pitches, very, very similar. Pedro has impacted an entire generation of young Latin pitchers.
You know, we were showing Cueto in the rotation early on, and if you just concentrate on his lower half, his legs, and how he drives towards home plate, and almost the finish, David, where he rolls over towards first base, it would look like Pedro Martinez if you didn't know it was Johnny Cueto. Tremendous torque down the hill with his lower half. You watch how he finishes towards first base, rolls over, and that's a leg drive right there.
That is how Pedro did it, without a doubt. You talk about young, you know, smaller type pitchers. Pedro about 5'10", and his peak could throw the ball 97 miles an hour. At night, he struck out 17 Yankee batters at the old Yankee Stadium. What a game. Chili Davis hit a home run off of him. We ended up beating him, I think, 1-0. And that night, oh, what a night he had. Pedro was throwing the ball 97, 98 miles an hour with that kind of finish, and that leg whip on the back leg as it comes through. And there is a direct correlation between stride length and velocity. And Cueto gets out there pretty good too with his stride, and whenever you stride a little bit longer and drive a little bit harder, you're going to finish sort of falling off with that back leg whip. Woo! Leg whip and a neck whip from Jeter.
Well, speaking of Pedro Martinez, we've seen this a few times, do this to Derek Jeter, up and in with the fastball. Very similar styles, movement on the pitches.
How does a guy 5'10" throw the ball 94 miles an hour? Well, it's with the lower half.
Pedro used to always come up and into Derek. There was actually one day, and David would remember us at the old Yankee Stadium, that he literally sent Derek Jeter and Chuck Knobloch to the hospital in the first inning.
I remember Derek Jeter's Soriano day, too.
Fouled away.
Obviously a situation here, even though Stewart's at first base running, but with a 3-2 and no outs, you got to try to stay out of the double play ball because Jeter has a very high ground ball rate. Stewart going the last pitch. I think you got to send him again right here.
You worry about the strikeout, throw him out too, with Cueto as strikeout ability.
Boy, he has paid a lot of attention to a catcher that is not going to be stealing a base.
Yeah, if I was the Yankees, I'd appreciate that. Hey, we'll concentrate on Stewart. Don't worry about Derek Jeter. Make a mistake to him. But a great stat right there. No stolen bases allowed his last 24 starts.
And only 5 attempts in 24 starts. Runner goes. And because the runner was going, Jeter hits into a double play. That was some play by Phillips. And he was moving to cover second base, and that's why he was there, to take away a base hit.
Well, he's won 3 Gold Gloves for a reason. A nice play, and then the throw off the bag. Votto does a nice job coming off and applying the tag. Bad luck right there for Derek Jeter. Hit that ball hard on Yesmo. You see Votto finishing up the play. The tag of Derek Jeter's left leg.
Yeah, the best laid plans, right, Michael? You try to stay out of the double play and send the catcher, and you run right into one. The second baseman was already moving because Chris Stewart was on the move. Phillips was cheating towards second.
Two and 0 to Granderson. Always looks like he's having fun out there, even if he boots the ball. Likes playing baseball.
Big time. Great personality.
I look at that smile and I wish I could have played like that. You know, it just wasn't in my personality. Go out there all smiles even when it's not going well. It's not easy to do.
You've made up for it now, though. You're a joy now.
Well, when Coney's around, there's a lot of smiles on my face.
Just sit. There's Robinson Cano. He has a habit of smiling on the field. Cano singled off the glove of Phillips. That was in the first inning. He's 23 for his last 56. That's a .410 batting average. 306 overall now. 1-0.
All this talk in this inning about Pedro Martinez, you know, the philosophy was get that pitch count up, get into the bullpen for the Boston Red Sox. 51 pitches with 2 outs in the third, so the Yankees doing a nice job early on, making Cueto throw some pitches. Bullpen for the Cincinnati Reds, a strength of their ball club, although Yankees did get to the closer yesterday.
Probably won't see Chapman today, you know, as he rarely throws back-to-back days, as Michael noted before. Chapman really was impressive yesterday. Came in touching 100 miles an hour. was actually upset because he didn't strike out the side. He only got 2. Part of our trivia question too, you know, what do you do when you've got a left-handed kid that's a phenom, can throw the ball 100 miles an hour? Do you start him or do you put him in the pen? Break him in slowly, or do you just go ahead and take your chances and throw him out there in the rotation? And Yankee fans can remember Jabba Chamberlain and the Jabba rules and all the drama with that.
Cano works a walk, so 2 straight walks by Cueto. Now runners on first and second. That's going to bring up Alex Rodriguez and bring out Brian Price.
A lot of respect there for Robinson Cano. A 2-0 changeup and a 3-0 slider. Looked like Cueto did not want any part of Robinson Cano.
Now, we did ask Joe Girardi today about Alex Rodriguez's lack of power, and here's the Yankee manager before today's game.
Just hoping when they come in bunches, and that's what you can hope. You know, hit a ball the left center. He almost hit out the other day. One to right center on a normal day is usually out. It is what it is, and you know, I don't necessarily think you need to hit 40 home runs to be productive.
And it goes on to say that, you know, 25 home runs and 120 ribbies you take. But John mentioned this before. You know, forget about the 5 home runs. Alex's RBI totals are not where they should be, and this is a number that might explain that. He's 6 for 36, 167 with runners in scoring position. And we all have read and heard about the struggles of Albert Pujols. He has more RBIs than Alex. And that one has popped up. Jay Bruce comes on, makes the play for the final out. No runs to hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. Heart of the order coming up for the Reds. Votto, Phillips, and Bruce next. Day here at the stadium, a little petrified forest as the kids hold up the bats between innings, and it's time for the New York State Smokers Quit Line Quiz. Which 2 players played in the 1990 World Series for the Reds and the 1996 World Series for the Yankees? I know one of them.
One.
Here's Joey Votto. Rounded up the middle, grabbed there by Cano, fires to first, and he gets Votto. Nice play by Cano.
Well, it's nothing new for Yankee fans watching Robinson Cano go to his right, throw across his body. And plenty of time to get Joey Votto off the bat. You're thinking I might have a base hit up the middle. Once he fields it and throws it, you are out.
Nobody does it like Robbie. I mean, all of his momentum going the other way, and that kind of arm strength from that Laredo throwing angle. Nobody like him.
You remember Robbie Alomar making throws like that? Like he would get to the ball and maybe jump or plant and make the throw.
Robbie just keeps on running on out to left field and gets all that mustard on the ball still.
Pitch to Phillips is a strike. Phillips is part of 2 trades that were absolute steals. Absolute steals. The Indians got him from the Expos for Bartolo Colon, but they didn't only just get him. They got Lee Stevens, Cliff Lee, and Grady Sizemore for Bartolo Colon as the Expos were trying to save the team in Montreal and get a pennant. And then the Reds got him from the Indians for right-handed pitcher Jeff Stevens. Just great deals, and Brandon Phillips is an outstanding player.
There was maybe a personality conflict with Eric Wedge and Phillips in Cleveland where there was a little desire to get him out of town. The Reds benefited from that trade. And strange because you watch him play now, it'd be tough to find a problem with him personality-wise, right? Always smiling, having a good time, plays hard.
Grounded to short, Jeter. 2 men out. That's going to bring up Jay Bruce, who was hit his last time up. Got hit on the hand. Popped up. Cano drifts over. He's in foul territory near the seats. Leans in. Can't make the play. The wind whipping in from left field might have pushed that or nudged that into the seats.
Yeah, most definitely, because you see Robbie kind of cruising, think he's going to get this ball, and it just keeps drifting. And once it's in the stands, it's fair play for the fans, that is. You see the flags sort of swirling and gusting, but definitely blowing that ball towards the stands.
Ryan Gorman says he did not go around. Soft ground ball to Cano. 3 ground balls, 3 straight outs, and Sabathia has not allowed a hit through 4 innings. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Raul Ibanez, Nick Swisher, and Eric Chavez coming up. which two players played in the 90 World Series for the Reds and the 96 World Series for the Yankees. So we know one of them is Paul O'Neill. Let's see who the other one is. Mariano Duncan. We play today, we win today. And that was the mantra of the 1996 Yanks.
That's right.
There's a strike. I'm just rounding off, David, but I think he hit something like 340 that year.
Yeah, Mariano Duncan was a big part of that team that year. Some big hits.
And the truck confirms it was 340. What a season. Well, so far, this game has measured up to the pitcher's duel that looked like on paper. Ibanez fouls one back.
So a nice job by Ibanez just to foul that pitch off. I mean, you're so used to seeing that changeup go down and away, the sinker go down and away, to foul off a high fastball. Real easy pitch to swing right through.
There's a base hit. Leadoff single for Ibanez. Here's Swisher. He struck out in the second inning. Birthday wishes have to go out today. The Boomer, David Wells, turns 49 today. And he had an early birthday present this week. Got a Yankeeography. Premiered on Yes earlier this week. So happy birthday to Boomer.
Hide the women and children tonight.
There's a strike.
Is it fair to say that Boomer is in better shape now at 49 than he was when he was still playing? He lost a ton of weight.
He was great in spring training for the Yankees this year, throwing batting practice to all these Yankee hitters. They loved facing him. He was a workhorse as far as the guest instructors go. Boomer just genuinely a fan of the game. You know, he loves being around baseball. He didn't want to quit. He probably thinks he could still pitch to this day. He never really retired. He's got a memorabilia collection, especially Yankee memorabilia, that rivals just about anybody.
One, two. And Nick, with a weak hat, strikes out for the second time.
Sort of one thing that's in common with both these pitchers who are dealing is consistently ahead in the count. Consistently in a position to expand the strike zone, as you saw Cueto just do. They're in attack mode. Both pitchers in complete attack mode, and you know, and it rubs off. You put the hitters on the defensive.
What it does is it changes your approach as a hitter when you walk up there, your second at bat here. I don't want to get behind in the count. Fastball to Eric Chavez. He takes it inside. Might see some quicker outs here for Cueto as the game goes on.
Chavez singled his first time up, 7 for 22 since coming up the DL with the concussion. Count 0-2. Grounded, grabbed there by Votto from his knees, fires to first, or second, back to first, a double play. You can see why Votto won a Gold Glove last year. He was pretty slick fielding first baseman. 3, 6, 3, and we go to the 5th. Ryan Ludwig will lead off. Thanks, Bob. It's amazing. They're about to sweep the Nationals. They've just gotten off to an unbelievable start. And the more you win, the more you believe that you can win. And confidence plays a big role. Ludwig swings and misses against Sabathia as we start the 5th.
The Orioles last year just about dead last in every pitching statistical category and much improved.
Ground ball to Jeter.
I thought getting Hamill out of Colorado was a big move for them, Flash. You know, you get that big guy that throws in the mid-90s, you know, out of Colorado, and he's got new life over with the O's, and he's a frontline starter. You know, two or even a one guy, he's off to a great start for the Orioles and really stabilized the rotation, in my opinion.
If you're him, you go from Colorado and then you go to Camden Yards. Not the greatest place to pitch in the world, but when you have that type of stuff, it doesn't much matter.
Here's Todd Frazier. And there's the first base hit against Sabathia. So Frazier picks up a single. We were talking about David Wells. That pitch a little bit up in the zone. There's Todd's dad from Toms River, New Jersey. He's digging it. Anyway, David's memorabilia collection. Bob Lorenz just texted me that, you know, we had talked about this last week, that Boomer was selling the Babe Ruth cap that he had actually worn a game as well. You know what he got for that cap? He auctioned it off. Do you know, David?
I had some estimates on what it might go for. I didn't see the final price.
What did you think? What did you think it would go for?
I thought it was going to be well into 6 figures.
Okay. Want to guess, John?
No idea.
Well, he paid $35,000 for it. He sold it at auction. Talk about a birthday gift. $537,000.
Wow.
Swing and a miss. And they had the runner in a rundown. He's going to be tagged out by Cano. That's caught stealing 2-4.
Well, a good play all the way around. Chris Stewart, the quick release, accurate throw. Frazier stops because he knows he has no shot. Robinson Cano runs him back. How quick the release from Chris Stewart, the accurate throw. And then textbook by Robbie Cano. Force Frazier to go back to first base. An easy play.
That's some emotion, too. You got to love his attitude. Chris Stewart has done an excellent job.
Popped up, shallow center, and that's going to find grass for a base hit. So Hannigan picks up a single. He hit the ball as hard as you could hit it the last time, up right at A-Rod. This time, a blooper into center field, and Cano couldn't get there, neither could Granderson.
You see Granderson almost breaks back a little bit, and once again, the swirling wind here knocks that ball down. Watch Granderson's first reaction, almost back. And then, uh-oh, gotta go, not gonna get there.
He got a big grin on his face. Here's Kozar. 0-1. And the count 0-2. Kozar walked in the third inning.
Very familiar theme here. Both pitchers ahead. Sabathia, another 0-2 count. Get into some of Sabathia's career numbers on down the road here, Flash, but they are impressive since he broke in 2001. And one of the best pitchers in the game. Nice block there by Stewart. Since 2001. Stewart, quick reactions back there like a cat. Jumps on it. Since 2001, Sabathia's got 181 wins, which is the most of anybody around. Roy Halladay is second with 179 wins. The numbers go on and on for Sabathia. I think he's got the foundation going for a really special career.
1-2. 2-2.
Sabathia won those 181 games through his first 362 appearances. Which ties him with Jim Palmer and Greg Maddux for 10th most through those few of appearances since 1918.
High fly ball down the right field line. Nick Swisher goes into the stands but does not come out with the ball.
Well, we saw it an inning ago with the wind really taking the ball into the seats in right field, and Nick Swisher goes into the crowd. It helps you have some padding on that wall.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Count 3-2. So Hannigan will be going.
Sabathia now 5th among active players in terms of wins. 181 wins we mentioned. Jamie Moyer has got 269 wins, but he's 94 years old. Sabathia just 31.
3-2. Grounded to Alex off of his glove, and it trickles into left field. So that's going to be an E5 on the Yankee third baseman and keeps the inning alive.
Cozart hits it pretty well, and it has a little top spin maybe. Alex Rodriguez can't believe he didn't make the play there. Pretty routine two-hopper right off of the glove. One of those classic situations of a pitcher having to try to pick up an infielder who made an error. You see it go the other way all the time, where a hard hit ball, great play by Alex Rodriguez. Now it's CC Sabathia's turn. We'll see if he can do it.
And he does it. He pops up Heisey, and Cano makes the play for the final out of the fifth. No runs, 2 hits, 1 error, and then 2 men left. Dwayne Wise will lead off for the Yanks. Well, we're halfway through here at the stadium, and there's no score, and there's a shot of the Mohegan Sun Sports Bar situated in center field. The Mohegan Sun Sports Bar is a great place to gather and enjoy the game. The error by Alex Rodriguez, only his second of the year. He's been playing a pretty good third base. Dwayne Wise leads off against Johnny Cueto. Wise shows bunt, takes low. 1-0. So the Reds get their first 2 hits in the top of the 5th inning, but they do not score. High fly ball right field. Bruce makes the play on the warning track for the first out. Here's Chris Stewart. Chris singled to right field in the 3rd inning. I like this stat. Stewart has a 2.78 catcher's ERA. I mean, that's somewhat telling because the Yankees don't pitch to that ERA as a team. Hasn't caught as many games as Russell Martin, but 2.78 is a nice ERA.
As a career or this year?
This year.
I don't want to take anything away from him, but he is catching the #1 guy for the Yankees, CC Sabathia.
No. This is his 10th. This is his 10th game that he's caught. So he's caught. So I mean, he caught Andy Pettit on Friday.
Okay.
That one is looped into center field, and he's 2 for 2. Now mock that.
I will not mock it, and I'm not taking anything away from it, but you have to. He's catching the top guy on the staff.
All right, so the top guy on the staff came in at 3.77.
He had a tough opening day.
Right, but that was with Martin.
I know that.
Right. But then Andy Pettit, 8 shutout innings.
Fantastic.
So that goes in.
I'm not taking anything away. You just have to realize you have to throw the other side, too.
You're putting some perspective to the stat, and I appreciate that.
Well, it didn't sound like you appreciated it.
No, I do. I do.
You know, I mean, Chris Stewart, I appreciate this guy more than you do. Don't turn me against him.
I like the guy.
He's raking right now, 2 for 2.
Just a matter before the Fordham GW thing comes right back out. Thought you guys put that to rest.
It's only a matter of time. You know, I found out through Twitter also that GW had their graduation ceremony yesterday. So not only Fordham.
Let's see if they turn 2 here. Here's 1. And Derek beats it out.
Not only can he catch, he can take a guy out at second, too. Look at that guy. He does everything. 2.78 catcher's ERA, taking guys out at second. 2 for 2, pretty close right there. Johnny Cueto doesn't like the call.
Now, the staff ERA is 4.14. That's Johnny's staff, everybody. There's a strike to Granderson. But it is nice when you're the personal catcher for the ace.
That's all I was asking for.
Although Joe Girardi says he's not his personal catcher.
He's as personal of a catcher as you can get at this point, I would think.
Yes.
I mean, Russell Martin yesterday hit a nice home run, hit a bullet his second at bat, did strike out his last 2, but swung the bat pretty well. But Chris Stewart back in there again today.
Now, were you Randy Johnson's personal catcher, John?
Well, I guess I could say that I was for the second half of that 05 season because Joe Torre came out and said that that was the case. And asked me if I would be up for the challenge of yelling and screaming at him for 9 innings. Be my absolute pleasure. You know, Joe Torre obviously had a different philosophy on it because he came out right away and said this is what we're going to do, and Jorge knows this is going to be his day off.
And it's weird, though, because Girardi admitted in 2009 that Molina was AJ's personal catcher, and he caught him in the World Series, too. And Joe said, I'm not saying that he will be his personal catcher, but if the playoffs started tomorrow and CC was starting game 1, Russell Martin would be catching, not Chris Stewart. But that's subject to change. So the count 3-2 on Granderson. Swing and a miss. Cueto matching zeros with CC Sabathia. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. Stubbs, Votto, and Phillips coming up against CC. Let's turn for another look at today's Toyota text poll. The question was, in what role can Aroldis Chapman best help the Reds? You've been texting us at 42951, and here is how you voted. 55% say as the closer. Then next is starter, and then 17% think the job he's doing now is the wrong job. No scorers. We go to the 6th. Here's Drew Stubbs. And there's a bunt. It is a beauty, and it's a base hit.
Well, if you could do it much better than Drew Stubbs does it right here. Nice bat angle, deadens the baseball right in front of Alex Rodriguez. Comes in with a bare hand, but no play.
Last minute, too. He disguises it, waits. Just enough to hold A-Rod back. And Stubbs runs well, too. So off and running. No chance. Might look for Stubbs to take a chance to steal here as well.
Pitch to Votto is low, 1-0.
The Reds, he's probably the only guy on the Reds that runs a little bit. I think he's got 6 or 7 stolen bases out of their 16 total. 7, so almost half of their team total.
Well, we talked in yesterday's ball game. Joey Votto has to do something for the Reds offensively for them to produce. He did in yesterday's game, a 3-run home run. They ended up holding on for the victory. This is the inning if you're Dusty Baker. Leadoff man on and 3-4-5 coming up. That was the home run yesterday from Joey Votto. A little slider on the inner half. 3-run shot against Nova. Shake of the head. He was so good. 12 strikeouts in 6 innings. Bad pitch to Votto, and he took advantage. Michael, you're going to love this. Another GW reference for you. My baseball coach at George Washington University, John Castleberry, was a scout for the Cincinnati Reds that signed Joey Votto. And I remember he called me up one day and said, I'm in Canada. Nobody knows about this kid. He's going to be a player. Lucky enough to sign him. MVP.
Wow. Check swing does not go. You can make a career on one signing like that. You really can. Like Tom Greenway did, signing Mickey Mantle, then also signed Bobby Mercer. And if you could uncover somebody that no one knows.
That's what he was excited about. You know, he was up in Canada somewhere, and he's like, this guy isn't on everybody's radar. We might be able to get him.
3-2. Runner was going, but it's ball 4. So a walk to Votto. Canada has produced 2 other MVPs along with Votto. You got Walker and Morneau. Look at the year Larry Walker had. 366, 49 homers, 130 ribbies. That was before the humidifier took effect in Coors Field, or the humidor. Morneau, 321, 34 homers, and 130 ribbies, and that was before they moved to Target Field. Votto's numbers great in 2010. So a threat for the Reds here in the 6th inning. 1st and 2nd, nobody out. One and 0.
Obviously a key point in the game right here for the Reds and the Yankees, and trying to anticipate what's going to happen. Alex is kind of pinched in at 3rd. Phillips probably not going to bunt here now that he's up 1-0, but looking for a productive out, looking to move the runners up.
Curtis Granderson really shading Phillips to right center field a little bit. A lot of room out in left center out here. I noticed CeCe threw that first fastball inside off the plate at 94, one of his best fastballs of the afternoon. with velocity and location, so he knows how important this at bat is.
Not giving in there. 2-0 count, first and second, key part of the game. A slider in on the fist of Brandon Phillips gets him to pull a foul. A veteran pitcher, never giving in, realizing this is the important part of the game. 77 pitches, still in good command.
Right back to CC, slows it down. Cano steps on the bag, fires to first, a double play. Well, just what he needed. 2 quick outs on the ground ball by Phillips.
Sabathia getting tough when he needed to, falling down 2-0, and then another jam shot, a good fastball in. The best thing Sabathia did was get out of the way right there. No real deflection that would have ruined that double play, but you can see Cano holding the runner at second base is in perfect position to get this jam shot right up the middle, and it's just automatic. First and second, nobody out. Now 2 outs with 1 pitch and a man on third.
David, you think he got that at all? You think he slowed it all or just missed him?
I think he whiffed on it, tell you the truth, and if there was any deflection, it was very slight.
So for now, let's say he didn't, and we score that a 4-4-3 double play with a runner at third. And here's Jay Bruce. I think this is a definitive look that he missed it.
And this is a break that he did miss it. A lot of times a pitcher will deflect a ball like that and ruin the double play.
There's a strike.
Just a great job of pitching on Phillips there, though, after falling down 2-0. A 2-0 slider, and then one of his best fastballs dead on the fist to jam him. And now jumping up 0-2 on Bruce, got a chance just to pitch his way right out of that jam.
The 0-2. Foul back.
No, when you watch CC or some other true aces in the league, it's like they pitch at 80% for most of the ball game. And then you get in a big spot like this spot here in the 6th inning. All of a sudden the velocity goes up a little bit. Sliders a little bit better. And to me, that's the difference. When they get in trouble, they have another level to go to.
The 0-2.
Sabathia 0-2 trying to challenge Bruce with some fastballs up and in. Probably could have got that last one in a better spot. You really got to trust Chris Stewart if you're going to snap off that slider, especially if it gets in the dirt with a man on third.
The 0-2.
Well, good pitch and a good take by Jay Bruce right there. Chris Stewart and CC Sabathia, I'm sure, paying attention, saying, well, that was a pretty good pitch, and nice job of holding up.
One-two to Bruce. 2-2. Stubbs is at third. Top of the 6th. Zeros on the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Got him. Strike 3 on the outside corner. Stubbs down looking. The Reds as a team hit 2-0-2 with runners in scoring position. And that number went a little bit lower with a very generous call by Tony Randazzo. Yankees baseball on Yas, brought to you in part by your tri-state area Volkswagen dealers. Visit VWDealer.com. By J&R Music and Computer World. And by Honda. Visit your local Honda dealer right now for great deals. Only a Honda is a Honda. Some popcorn for sale here at the stadium as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning, and Robinson Cano will lead it off. Boy, it's tough enough to hit CC Sabathia, and it becomes impossible to hit him if you're going to get a called third strike on the one that Bruce went down on to end the 6th inning. But veteran pitchers sometimes get those calls.
When you're around the plate all the time, you know, umpires get into a groove and kind of jump the gun a little bit.
2-0 to Cano. When the Yankee offense stalls, when they score 3 runs or fewer, they're 1-14 this year. Now, when they score 4 runs or more, they're 20-5. Right now, 0's on the board for the Yanks. Some might wonder, because of the sluggishness of the offense, when is Brett Gardner coming back? He was supposed to swing the bat either today or tomorrow. But now they're going to put that off until Thursday. And Joe Girardi said he wouldn't term it a setback, but the doctors say let's wait until Thursday. That one is driven deep to left center field, way back there, and it's going to land on the warning track and go 1 hop up against the wall. So a double for Cano against Cueto.
Nice start for the Yankees here in the 6th, and Cueto has wanted no part of Robinson Cano all afternoon, but he came in with a 3-1 fastball. You remember the last at bat threw a lot of off-speed pitches to Robinson. Comes in with a sinking fastball, and he goes the other way for a leadoff double.
16 doubles for Cano. That's best in the American League. So the Yankees have a runner in scoring position for Alex Rodriguez. He flied out to right in the 3rd inning with runners on 1st and 2nd and 2 outs. And another fly ball to right. Bruce makes the catch, and Cano just bluffs. Alex hearing some boo birds here as he walks back to the dugout.
Had the right idea, try to hit a ball the other way, advance Robinson Cano with a base hit, ground ball, just doesn't get that fly ball deep enough.
Well, that's what they've done with runners in scoring position. The 2 hits yesterday in the 9th, 1 for 16 against the Blue Jays, 2 for 20 against the Orioles. Ibanez has struck out and singled through the infield on the left side.
One of the guys the Yankees want up there, 25 RBIs. Nice piece of hitting his last at bat, going the other way against Cueto.
High drive, right field. Bruce back, looking, see ya. A 2-run home run for Ibanez, and the Yankees are on the board. They lead 2-0.
Raul Ibanez's last at bat went the other way on a sinking fastball, and Johnny Cueto tried to make a little bit of an adjustment and beat him inside, but he can't do it. It runs back over the plate. Ibanez has been such a clutch hitter for the Yankees early on. Able to get some lift on that fastball to give the Yankees a 2-0 lead.
Here's Swisher. He has struck out twice against Cueto. Oh, what a play by Votto. And he feeds Cueto for the second out.
He's flashed the leather. This ball is tagged. And a big hop, too. As you can see, looking like Teixeira a little bit. Rangy first baseman of the Yankees is on the shelf for now. But, yeah, that's not an easy hop to handle, and Votto makes it look easy.
Here's Eric Chavez. And a strike.
You almost get the feeling like, all right, there's that one big swing of the bat. There's your ball game. If you're CC Sabathia, you got the runs you wanted. If you can go out there and continue to dominate. The Yankees off a tough pitcher. One swing of the bat, 2 runs.
After the postgame, WB Mason presents the Joe Girardi Show, and Joe told a great story about Ibanez in spring training, where he asked Ibanez, what do you need? He goes, whatever you want. He goes, no, what do you need? He goes, whatever you want. He goes, no, Raul, I want to know what you need to make spring training better for you. He goes, whatever you want. He wouldn't tell him what he needed. That one is served into left field. Going back, Heisey still back, and he reaches up to make the play for the final out. Well, Ibanez probably asked him, or told him, whatever you want. Joe said, I'd like a 2-run home run. And he got one. Into the second deck. We go to the 7th inning. Yankees up 2-0. Whatever you want. CC's been dealing. Let's look at the K by K brought to you by Mazda.
The Michael K by K, and Sabathia's had it going today. You know, maybe not a big total number of strikeouts, but a good slider and then a little help.
Here's Ryan Ludwig. That one is driven deep to left field. See ya. Long home run for Ludwig. And suddenly the Reds are on the board. It's 2-1 Yanks.
Dusty Baker, manager of the Reds, needs to get Ludwig going, balance out that lineup a little bit. It'd be his 4th home run of the year. First pitch swinging fastball down and in, and kind of like a left-hander likes the ball down and in. 4 home runs and 16 hits this year. 25% of those hits are home runs for Ludwig.
There's Todd Frazier. On the scoreboard, they have the picture of Frazier standing next to Derek Jeter in 1998. Cadillac scoreboard 2-1 Yankees lead. And we showed you that picture the last 2 days here on Yes. What a great memory for Frazier, who had not seen it till his family told him that it was on Yes. Popped up. Swisher makes the play. Kind of fought the sun there a bit. Nice crowd here at the stadium on a Sunday afternoon as Ryan Hannigan comes to the plate. He's 1 for 2. Hannigan and Mesoraco split time catching. Hannigan, I believe, catches 3 of the starters, and Mesoraco catches 2. Strike.
You know, flash location so important. We talk about location with Sabathia, you know, that pitch to Ludwig trying to come in, similar to Ibanez. And Cueto, the first fastball in, he swung through, good spot. He just missed that spot by a couple inches. Difference between a swing and a miss and a home run. Same thing with Sabathia on Ludwig this inning. The same, you know, obviously with Cueto and Ibanez in the last inning. Cueto tried to double up on Ibanez. Second one wasn't as good as the first one. Ludwig got a first pitch heater that just didn't get in there quite enough. And coming on the inside part of the plate with your fastball, a couple inches makes a big difference.
High drive, left field, going back wise. He's on the track at the wall. Tie game. Ryan Hannigan goes yard. So a home run for Ludwig, a home run for Hannigan. It's 2-2 here in the 7th. Yankee starters have now given up 43 home runs.
Well, once again, talk about the fastball and see where the glove is. Just missed, just a couple inches, just like we were just saying. On an 0-2 pitch, Hannigan guarding in. Launches that ball a long way.
Cozart hits one off of CC, scrambles after it, and it's a base hit for Cozart.
Hannigan, who came into this game without a home run, hits this ball a mile. CC Sabathia taking a look at it. Very deflating start here to the 7th inning for the Yankees. That one big swing by Ibanez, you think, you know what, your number 1 guy is going to shut him down the rest of the way, possibly. What a ball game.
Larry Rothschild comes out and talks with CC. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees that may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Now, what do you make of this stat, guys? Coming into this game, Yankee starters have allowed 41 home runs in 40 games. That's the most they've ever allowed in the history of the franchise over the first 40 games. Why? Well, what's happening with the staff this year?
I want to start off, David. I mean, I think David just said it perfectly. When you miss with locations, especially inside, those balls end up going a long way. I mean, obviously, it's a good place to hit here at the old Yankee Stadium, at this stadium in right field. Making some mistakes early on, and you know, CC, just 2 pitches in this inning, I think sums it up for me why he gave up a few home runs. Location.
1-0 count on Heisey.
I think you look at Ivan Nova's troubles yesterday too. I mean, he's leading the league in total bases given up. And he strikes out 12, but even he, by his own admission after that game, said, "I don't care about the strikeouts. I'm missing my location too much, and when I do, they're up in the zone, and that leads to doubles and home runs."
And he's allowed 10 home runs. Just by himself.
Say the same for, even though Phil Hughes has been good, much better lately, early in the season, the same sort of thing. Your mistakes are up and out over the plate. Wild in the strike zone leads to home runs. There's two ways to be wild when you're a pitcher. Wild throwing strikes, can't get the ball over the dish, and wild within the strike zone. Yankees pitchers probably guilty of that as much as anybody. Wild within the strike zone, hanging breaking balls out over the plate. Sabathia will tell you that after the game. As good as he's pitched today, that was an 0-2 pitch on Hannigan there. That's what you call wild in the strike zone. If anything, when you're ahead in the count, you're going to miss off the plate. And then when you don't miss off the plate, that miss comes back on the plate more. That's when you give up the big flies. Especially when you have margin for error to work with. Ahead in the strikes, ahead in the count.
When you talk about Phil Hughes too, when he misses in the strike zone, David, with his fastball, it's pretty much straight. Not a whole lot of movement where he's going to get some ground balls. Those balls that are centered are fly balls that have a chance to leave the yard. It's a luxury for Cueto today, who the Yankees are seeing. When he misses in the strike zone, it has movement down with the fastball.
You could sort of say the same for Hiroki Kuroda. Coming when we covered that in our pregame show of Kuroda coming from the National League West, pitching in one of the best pitchers parks I've ever pitched in Dodger Stadium. Coming here to Yankee Stadium, the American League East. Those get me over breaking balls do not work in the American League East. They go a long way.
1-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. So Heisey down on strikes. Speaking of Hiroki Kuroda, tomorrow's starting pitchers brought to you by Verizon Fios. Welcome to America's fastest, most consistent, most reliable internet. Welcome to life on Fios. Felipe Paulino pitched well against the Yankees in KC. Gets another go with them tomorrow. 1-1, 1.93. Kuroda 3-5, 4.50. Our coverage begins at 6 with the BP show. 6:30 is our pregame show. And I'd say 7:08 probably be the first pitch tomorrow. And it's on yes. Here's Drew Stubbs.
Well, Michael, that's why you see, in today's general managers around the league, they're much more in tune with the data that's out there now, information age. Ground ball rates, such a big sort of common denominator for all general managers when they try to evaluate pitchers nowadays. Obviously, you can't hit a home run on the ground, so ground ball to fly ball rate, those sorts of statistics are so much more important. Back in the day, you used to see a lot more fly ball pitchers, the power four-seam guys. Think Jim Palmer back in the 70s and 80s. Different strike zone back then. The higher strike was called. Nowadays, completely different.
Count 3-0 to Stubbs. You don't want to lose Stubbs and have to deal with Votto. But they're one pitch away from doing that. There's a strike.
There's one of those dangerous pitches right here. Stubbs has some power. He only has 3 home runs this year, but he's hit over 20 in the past. You have Votto on deck. You know about him. Former MVP. 3-1 fastball possibly.
Walked him.
Try to throw the fastball away. Just missed.
Sabathia got to regroup here. It's so easy to kind of lose your concentration when you had a 2-0 lead, and all of a sudden, boom, boom, a couple solo shots. Kind of like a boxer on the ropes. You got hit with a couple of uppercuts, and kind of lose your wits about you for a second. The good pitchers are actually able to minimize that right away. Get out of this inning. As you see, Corey Wade going to get up. 2 outs here in the 7th. Now already 103 pitches for Sabathia as this inning continues.
Pitch outside to Votto. Sabathia looks so great over 6 innings, and then trouble here in the 7th with the 2 home runs, runners on first and second, and 2 outs. Game is tied at 2. Got the fastball by him, 1-1. .94 miles an hour he dials it up to, and the count 2-1.
I like that pitch a lot. Votto with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, 4 for 8, a home run and 8 RBIs. But left on left, going with the fastball in. We talked this whole series. Votto will hit the ball the other way. It's one of his strengths.
Nice pitch. 2-2.
Votto with a good eye. Hitters count. Right on the black with that slider. We'll see it on the overhead view here. Just the front edge.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on, 2-2 game. The pitch. Now the count is full. 11 go-ahead ribbies this season, tied with Hunter Pence for the most in the majors. Runners will go 3-2, 2 outs. Brandon Phillips is on deck. The 3-2 pitch. He walked him and the bases are loaded.
He went with the fastball 3-2, tried to dot it down and away and misses down. Thought he might try to come back with that slider 3-2 to freeze Votto. Went with the fastball and he missed.
Kozart at third, Stubbs at second, and Votto is at first.
Sabathia, what a reversal of fortunes in a hurry. You know, staked a 2-run lead. Now, not only are you tied, you got the bases loaded.
Missed outside to Phillips. 110 pitches for Sabathia.
He's been on the mound a long time here in the 7th inning.
Count 1-1. Like a changeup, a little up in the zone. The change of speed is what got Phillips. Averages 109 pitches per start. He's at 111 today. His high for the year 119. One strike away from working out of it. 1-2.
A pretty good swing right there from Phillips too, and a fastball had some velocity, but out over the plate. As a hitter, you know you had a good one to hit and fouled it off. Now you really got to get tough with 2 outs and 2 strikes.
One, 2. 2-2. Crowd trying to carry Sabathia through this. Getting revved up for a strikeout, but he'll take any out he can get to end this 7th inning.
Definitely want to try to make it happen on this pitch, too, because you don't want all the runners running on a 3-2 pitch.
Well, that's what's going to happen. 3-2 with 2 outs and the bases loaded.
Tries to backdoor the slider, clearly stays away. So now you've got problems. All the runners running. If Phillips manages to get a ball to the outfield and find the grass, you got a chance to score 3 runs.
Runners go. 3-2. Fouled away. They'll do it again.
Good spoil job there by Phillips. 95 miles an hour. Good fastball away. Going to make Sabathia do it again.
He walked him. That'll force in a run, and the Reds lead 3-2. 3 straight walks by Sabathia. And the bases remain loaded for Jay Bruce. It has all unraveled here in the 7th.
An excellent at-bat for Brandon Phillips right there. Spoiled some tough pitches, laid off some others, worked the walk.
5 walks for Sabathia this afternoon, a season high.
Bruce, the 9th batter to come to the plate. There's a strike. And what this lead means is that you've got to deal with that Reds bullpen. Yesterday, the Yankees got to the closer, Sean Marshall, but Arredondo came on to get the final out.
This will be the 33rd pitch of the inning.
Check swing. Ryan Gorman said he stayed.
For Sabathia, that's extremely difficult in any inning, much less in the 7th here when your total was 118.
His next pitch will match his season high. Still threw 94 miles an hour right there in the count 1-2. Missed outside, 2-2. Stubbs is at third, Votto at second, and Brandon Phillips is over at first. A home run by Ludwig made it 2-1. A home run by Hannigan made it 2-2. Single by Kozart. Walk, walk, walk made it 3-2. And now the Reds looking for more. Strike 3. Bruce down looking. But the damage has been done. 3 runs, 3 hits, 3 walks, and 3 men left. At the end of 6.5, time for the 7th inning stretch here at the stadium. Reds lead the Yankees 3-2, but we'll stay here in the Bronx to listen to a rendition of God Bless America.
As we remember the servicemen and women who are serving our country at home and around the globe. Thank you. Now join in Kate Smith's rendition of God Bless America.
To
as a pitcher. And there's Bob's usual partner, sitting with his wife Pam, Jack Curry, with a Sunday off, and his nephew Kyle in the Yankee cap, 16th birthday.
16, that's a big one.
Yeah. How about Strasburg can hit, huh?
Jeez, that's nice when you go deep in the game and give yourself the lead.
Cadillac scoreboard. Now they're going to shut him down in August when he hits 160 innings. I wonder if they're going to keep him around as a pinch hitter. Now, you know Davey Johnson. You think he's going to allow, if they're in a pennant race, to shut down Steven Strasburg?
They're going to have to take it out of his hands because he was raised a different way.
There's a strike to Wise, 2-1.
I would handle it differently, Michael. You know, I'm not so worried about the innings pitched. I'm worried about recovery time in between starts. You know, the theory being, you know, that you try to limit the number of innings pitched from year to year with young pitchers, and of course the pitch counts on a start-to-start basis. But the whole theory with the medical data is
foul back.
Injuries happen when there's fatigue. Pitchers are more susceptible to hurt their arms when they pitch too many innings over the course of a year. You know, I think just a little extra recovery time between starts. If I were handling Strasburg, I would give him extra days. You know, maybe skip a start, you know, keep him around rather than shut him down. It certainly it worked for me later in my career. The 1999 season, I pitched once a week in the last month of September to give me extra days in between starts. And whenever I missed a start late in the year, I came back. It really gave me time to get some life back in my arms. So I'm a believer in recovery time as opposed to limiting the innings pitched.
Dwayne Wise with a ground ball to Phillips. And there's one away. Let's check out the game summary on this game, brought to you by your local Nissan dealer. 3-6-0, beating 2-7-1. Sabathia 7 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 5 walks, 6 strikeouts, 121 pitches. Ibanez 2-run home run in the 6th gave the Yankees a 2-0 lead, but that was short-lived as Ludwig and Hannigan connected on solo home runs, and then Phillips with a bases-loaded walk pushed across the 3rd run. That's where we are right now. And Johnny Cueto in control. Chris Stewart hammers one to left field, deep, going back, Heisey, and he makes the play. Stewart bidding for his 3rd hit, but Heisey got a good jump and took away an extra base hit.
Oh, Chris Stewart having a nice afternoon with the bat. 2 hits already, a nice quick stroke to left field. Thinking extra bases, Heisey takes it away. Really put some nice at-bats on a tough right-hander, Johnny Cueto, this afternoon.
And asking around, found out that the Reds today, if they need a closer, will probably close with Chapman. He said that he was fine. That would have been the 4th time he pitched in 5 days. He pitched in both games in the Mets series. He was off on Friday. Yesterday, struck out 2 in a 1-2-3 8th inning. And Sean Marshall struggled, so Chapman might close today. There's a strike. So the Yankees might want to get it done before they see Chapman the way he pitched yesterday.
Big at-bat here from Jeter, too, with Cueto at 101 pitches. Try to extend this inning a little bit, tack some more pitches on that count.
Derek's 0 for 3 today, and he has an 8-game hitting streak. Jeter tries to hold up, but in trying to get out of the way, he went around. So the count 1-2.
We've seen this all afternoon. The fastball's up and in to Derek Jeter. That clearly goes around. Role reversal here in the 7th inning. CC Sabathia had the lead, couldn't get the job done. Johnny Cueto looking pretty good here in the 7th.
Rounded to short. Cozart gets Jeter, and Cueto works a 1-2-3 7th inning. We take it to the 8th. The Yankees will likely go to the bullpen with the Reds up 3-2. Come out to Yankee Stadium tomorrow, May 21st, for a special giveaway when the Yankees take on the Royals. The first 18,000 guests in attendance will receive a pack of Yankees Fathead Tradables, courtesy of Pepsi Max. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the stadium ticket window, Yankees Clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Well, after that rough 7th inning, Joe Girardi has to make the call to the bullpen for the 8th, and it's brought to you by AT&T. And Corey Wade will come on the pitch. 17th game for Wade, and his innings are certainly more important and later in the game now with all the injuries to the Yankee bullpen. And Ryan Ludwig swings at the first pitch. Pops it up to shallow center. Late jump for Granderson, and he can't see the ball. It got hit by it. So a base hit for Ludwig. He was struggling with that right off the bat. I think it might have hit him on the way down, but nonetheless, it's a base hit for Ludwig. And that's what the center fielder is seeing now at the stadium.
You know, obviously a high sky, not a lot of clouds. Granderson, as Michael said, is just struggling with it.
Let's see if it hit his leg or the grass. Well, he's lucky it hit the grass. It might have just grazed his leg. And you knew he was in trouble right there. So Ludwig with a single. Wise gets a chance, and he'll put it away for the second or the first out, retiring Frazier. So Ludwig, who has been struggling mightily, probably feels his luck is turning. The home run and then a single that should have been an out. The Hyundai scoreboard has the Reds up 3-2. Here's Ryan Hannigan, who was 2 for 3.
Hannigan's home run was the real backbreaker, you know, and Sabathia gave up 2 home runs to give up the lead. That 0-2 pitch just didn't quite get it in there. Ludwig, the first home run of last inning was a first pitch fastball. Hannigan's an 0-2 pitch.
Ludwig, a guy who has some power, has hit some home runs in his career. Hannigan known more as a guy who sprays the ball around, a line drive hitter. I think the Reds a little bit of credit here, kind of fighting back in this ball game.
There were several good at bats too in that inning that forced Sabathia to get the bases loaded, and then with the bases loaded walk. Surprised to see the Reds put a play on her, push the envelope, trying to get a 4th run on the board.
2-1 to Hannigan.
Good count to send the runner here. Corey Wade probably got to throw a strike, doesn't want to go to 3-1. Good hit and run play right here. Traditionally. Yankees thinking the same thing as Corey Wade is checking the runner first. See Dusty Baker there, more of a National League style manager, trying to be surprised if he didn't push the envelope here in either this pitch or the next pitch, try to get the runner moving.
Now, real good action pitch, 3-1.
Couple of things going for you for Cincinnati here on the 3-1 count with 1 out. And Stewart looks for Tony Pena for a little help on his running game signs. Is stay out of the double play, one thing, and then a gapper you can score if you get this guy running.
Doesn't move, and a walk issued to Hannigan. First and second with 1 out. You can vote along with us for today's Chevy Player of the Game. That's right. You can text your vote to 42951 or vote online at yesnetwork.com. Today's candidates are number 1, Johnny Cueto, number 2, Ryan Hannigan, number 3, Raul Ibanez, and number 4, CC Sabathia. Vote now and make your voice heard. Standard text messaging rates apply. Crowd of 45,622 here on a Sunday afternoon bat day at the stadium. As Stewart has a little conference with Corey Wade. Cozart singled off of Sabathia in the 7th. 2 for his last 28 is Cozart. And there's a strike. Hammered foul.
Such a big inning for Corey Wade here in the 8th. The Yankees struggling offensively. Talked about the bullpen of the Reds. Possibility of Chapman closing this game out. Every run so important here in the 8th inning.
No score through 5.5. Yankees with 2 runs in the 6th on an Ibanez 2-run home run. And then the Reds 3 runs in the 7th. Strike 3. Cozart down looking. 2 outs. Logan Andrusek getting ready for the Reds. I don't think the Yankees would be crushed to see Cueto out of the game. Here's Chris Heisey. He's 0 for 4, and he takes a strike.
Last couple of pitches from Corey Wade really emphasizes his effectiveness against right-handed batters. He locks them up with that changeup, down and away. Excellent command. Great arm action on that changeup.
And he comes back with a fastball and it's fouled back.
Just makes that 89 miles an hour look that much quicker. But Corey Wade just excellent command this year. Just his third walk in this inning of the year. Changeup probably his best pitch, but he's got good breaking stuff to go with it. Curves and sliders and different arm angles.
I like where he's setting up on the mound too, all the way to the third base side of the rubber. Tough for a right-hander. It's almost like he's throwing behind them, sweeping the breaking ball across. A little deception to go with all that stuff David's talking about.
Boone Logan warming up. The 1-2. Strike 3. Heisey down looking. No runs to hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. He got him with the changeup. Go to the bottom of the 8th. Granderson, Cano, and A-Rod as the Yankees try to come back. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Ford, the official truck of the New York Yankees. 2, 3, and 4 in the Yankee order against Johnny Cueto. It'll be Granderson, Cano, and A-Rod. And all day, Cueto has stayed away from Cano. And Cano has walked and had 2 hits. Granderson's 0 for 2 with a walk. And the right-hander spins and deals. Foul back. Got a lefty and a righty warming in the bullpen for the Reds. On the Hyundai scoreboard, it's 3-2 Cincinnati over New York. Count 1-1. Cueto looking for his 5th win against just 1 loss. 26-year-old right-hander. Coming into this game, last 2 seasons, a 2.20 ERA. And only the Dodgers' Clayton Kershaw is better with a 2.197 ERA. That's how good he's been since the beginning of last year. Still 1-2.
I mean, everything you talk about a #1 starter, he has it. The stuff, the changeup, the slider, the ability to go to another level when he gets in trouble. Think about this game. One bad pitch for him to Ibanez cost him 2 runs. Those #1 starter guys, David, they start smelling that victory here in the 8th inning. You know, can you go out there and finish it out against the middle of the Yankee lineup? We'll see.
2-2. Line drive, right field. It is a base hit. Cutting over is Bruce. Fields the ball on the warning track, and he will hold Granderson to a single. Later today, you have to catch a new WB Mason Presents the Joe Girardi Show as the Yankee manager discusses the latest injuries in the state of the bullpen. Then on Yankees on Deck, presented by Blimpie, Nick Swisher stops by a Tampa aquarium with kids from the Boys and Girls Club. It's all coming up later after the postgame, and it's only on Yes. Well, Dusty Baker knows that Cueto has not been real comfortable facing Cano. And Baker is going to take the ball from Cueto and call on Sean Marshall to face Robinson Cano. So Cueto gives the Reds 7 strong innings and 1 batter. He leaves a tying run on deck. Good performance by the young right-hander. And now his bullpen will have to take over.
One half second too slow.
In postgame, Bob Lorenz recaps the key moments from today's series finale and takes a look at the latest from around baseball. Plus, Meredith Morakovitz gets the clubhouse reaction and Joe Girardi's manager's report. It's the WB Mason postgame, and it's only on Yes. A lot of kids at the ballpark. It's bat day, but the Yankee bats have been held to just 2 runs on 1 swing by Raul Ibanez, and they're going to have to rally in this game as the Reds bring in the guy that's been their closer to replace Johnny Cueto. You see his numbers. And Sean Marshall will face off against Robinson Cano.
Well, the inflated ERA for Sean Marshall, 7 of 8 in save opportunities. Had a rough outing yesterday. Dusty Baker gets him right back out on the mound here in the 8th inning.
Cano did not face Marshall yesterday. Did not come up in the 9th inning. He was on deck when Granderson made the final out. But that was already when Arredondo was in. And a strike.
We saw this from Marshall yesterday. He can step towards first base a little bit and really drop his arm angle and bring a big sweeping slider to a left-handed batter. Does not have the fastball of a guy like Chapman, but he's got a big sweeping breaking ball.
The 0-1. Kind of a wave there by Cano, 0-2. Rafael Soriano doing some groundskeeping.
Be surprised if Cadeau sees anything other than that slider once again.
That's exactly what he sees, and that is not a typical Robinson Cano at bat. He did not look good at the plate.
It's a good call, Davey. You think back yesterday with Marshall, every time he threw his fastball, it got hit.
Obviously, his stuff is more suited for this type of a role, you know, to come in as a setup guy, get really tough on left-handed batters with that sweeping breaking ball.
Well, he's going to take the ball from Marshall. He's going to call on Andrusek to face Alex Rodriguez and then Raul Ibanez. Stay tuned. The Bronx for the start of a 3-game set right here at the stadium. Coverage starts at 6 with Audi BP today and the Tri-State Ford pregame. Then Ken Singleton and Paul O'Neill will join me for all the action only on Yes.
We got it backwards, didn't we? I'm doing the Cincinnati games and O'Neill's doing the Kansas City games.
It is a little odd. Skywriting going on. I have no idea what they're writing. Something Hall will. It's always dangerous to start reading now because they could write anything. Logan Andrusek comes on to face Alex Rodriguez.
Andrusek, we saw yesterday, heavy sinking fastball. He's a tough matchup, a big at-bat for Alex Rodriguez. Get something going here and really pick up the team.
Alex looking for a big hit. He is 0 for 3. And he's 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position today. 2 fly balls to right. Granderson's at first. 1 man out. That one's driven deep to left field. Going back, Heisey on the track. He'll make the play. And Granderson heads back to first. So Alex flirted with a go-ahead 2-run home run. But the ballpark held it.
You know what? When Alex Rodriguez hits a baseball and he looks into the Yankee dugout, he thinks he got it. Cannot believe that the wind holds this ball up. The first thing I do when Alex makes a swing and centers it, you look at his reaction. He thought that was a 2-run home run.
And the wind is blowing straight in where it's open there between the grandstand and the scoreboard. And it looked like it did knock it down. So here's Raul Ibanez. And a strike. Ibanez 2 for 3. Gave the Yankees a 2-0 lead with a 2-run home run in the 6th. Popped up. Shallow left center. Backing up is Kozart. And he'll make the play for the final out. No runs are hit. No errors. And one man left. The skywriting, will you marry me, Christine? She might have said yes if Alex Rodriguez had been able to hit that 2-run home run. Lead this one 3-2. Drew Stubbs will lead it off against Corey Wade. Pitch is outside, 1-0.
Think back to Drew Stubbs in his last at bat, probably the one at bat that CC Sabathia wants back. He had 2 outs there in that 8th inning. Walked Drew Stubbs, walked Votto, walked Phillips, cost him that go-ahead run.
Fly ball center field. Battling the sun is Granderson, and he puts it away to retire Stubbs. And as we told you, Chapman's going to close this one out. And if you want to look ahead to the bottom of the 9th, it'll be Swisher, Chavez, and Wise.
Granderson again fighting the sun out in center field. Interesting, Nick Swisher and Wise all the way out there in center trying to protect against missing a ball in the sun.
Oh, Joey Votto coming up. Joe Girardi will go to the bullpen. He will bring in Boone Logan. Yankees trailing this one 3-2. We're in the top of the 9th here on a Sunday in the Bronx. facilities discussion with Philadelphia Flyers owner Ed Snyder. Plus, an examination on the state of new stadium financing around the country. It's a new Forbes Sports Money Wednesday at 11, only on Yes. It's a picture-perfect Sunday afternoon. The only thing missing for Yankee fans is a lead as they trail this one 3-2. One out in the top of the ninth inning, and the Yankees do go to Brooke Logan to face Joey Votto. Brooke again. Boone Logan, I'm sorry. $20 games for Logan. 25 strikeouts in 16 2/3 innings. And the pitch is up and in, 1-0. There's a breaking ball strike. That's the difference this year with Logan, as he has been able to get that pitch over, and he throws upwards of 93 to 95. Pretty good combination.
See the game plan against Votto. CC Sabathia tried to do the same thing, run some fastballs inside. If you miss, that's fine. At least you make him think about it a little bit. Go back away with that slider.
There's a strike, 2-2.
Votto very upset there on the 2-1 slider. Could not pull the trigger. Just got locked up, and look at that.
He is fired up. Had to take a walk just to calm himself down. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And then he waves the pitch out of the zone. Logan strikes out Votto.
Boy, the mental game of hitting. You have a pitch to hit, you don't pull the trigger, and then you take a weak hack at a 2-strike slider in the dirt. Former MVP, a guy who hits over 300, drives in a bunch of runs.
The best eye in the game, too. Not easy, even for the best.
There's a base hit off the bat of Phillips into right field.
Brandon Phillips's at bat off of Sabathia and working that walk. That was probably the best at bat of the day. You know, the home runs aside, mistakes made. You certainly could look back and second guess anything you want, but that at bat by Brandon Phillips was superb. Spoiling some pitches from Sabathia as well, forcing him to walk him.
Very strange swing there by Jay Bruce, and the count 0-1.
Well, tough afternoon. You face CC Sabathia for a few at bats, and you get a lefty specialist, Boone Logan.
You can see once he started and committed his swing, he read fastball.
Got the fastball there, and he was late. The count 0-2.
If you find yourself caught in between, out in front of the slider and behind on the fastball. Now Boone Logan can go any direction he wants on the 0-2 pitch. Chris Stewart with some good recall, knowing that Jay Bruce has been rung up twice on outside fastballs, one off the plate and One right on the corner. See if he goes right back out there again. 3 for the slider.
Swisher, Chavez, and Wise will have the deal against Chapman in the bottom of the 9th inning. Hard throwing left-hander. Was touching 99 yesterday in his appearance against the Yanks. And the pitch. 2-2. Rip foul, still 2-2. Bruce has 1 hit in his last 18 at bats. He got on base today after he was hit by a pitch in the 2nd inning by Sabathia. And the pitch. Off the glove of Jeter, he stays with it, and he has no play. We'll see how they score that.
Tell where that ball got Jeter as he shakes his hand. Short hop up the wrist, on the back of the wrist. Tough play. When it's hit that hard with that kind of a short hop.
And they give Jay Bruce a base hit. And the Reds have runners on 1st and 2nd, and Joe Girardi's going to go to the bullpen. See, Jeter is kind of disgusted with the play. So Soriano will come on to face Ryan Ludwig. 1st and 2nd, Yankees want to hold it right here at 3-2, top of the 9th. Stay where you are. All of that adds up to 3-2 Reds as Soriano comes on to deal to Ludwig. And the pitch is outside 1-0. 1st and 2nd for the Reds with 2 outs in the top of the 9th. Those are the numbers on Soriano. Strike.
Trying to get some feeling back in that hand. I'm sure that shot to the back of his hand, maybe his wrist, makes that hand go numb.
There's a strike.
The way things have been going for the Yankees injuries wise, you hope it's nothing more than that.
And the 1-2. Line to left field. Wise dives. He can't make the play. It's past him and it goes to the wall. Phillips scores. Jay Bruce rounds third. He will score. It's a 2-run double for Ludwig. And the Reds now lead 5-2.
Well, nothing but sliders, and Wise takes a good shot at it, but that dive's going to cost him an extra run. But almost, just off the tip. Nice effort by Wise. This pays the price, and Johnny Cueto, today's starting pitcher, going to play third base coach. Feeling pretty good about his effort now.
Todd Frazier takes outside. That's a big base hit right there. Trying to get a rally against the guy with a 0 ERA is going to be tough enough, and now you're down 3 and you'll have to face Chapman, who has not allowed an earned run all year. Very big hit. The 1-0. 1-1.
Dusty Baker wanted to get Ludwig going. Well, he had a home run, now that double, couple RBIs, and you're right, David, a lot of sliders back to back to back to Ludwig.
Count 1-2.
Generally, if you're going to feature a steady diet of sliders, you want to go better and better off the plate. And it seemed like it was the opposite direction with Soriano. The worst one he threw was the last one that got hammered.
Strike 3. Frazier down looking, but that's one batter too late. 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors, and 1 man left. Do the Yankees have a rally against Chapman in their bones?
Well, the top of the 7th, very productive for the Cincinnati Reds. Ludwig, first pitch swinging, gets the Reds on the board with a solo shot. Later on, it would be the catcher Hannigan on an 0-2 pitch. Ties the ball game up, and those are your Land Rover drives of the game.
Well, Chapman has come out on mound, doesn't like the landing spot that is worn down in front of the pitcher's mound, so called out the grounds crew. The umpires are out there, and they're going to bring out some more clay to flatten it out for him. And that's what happens. You have two starters that land in a different spot as Mark Teixeira comes out to pinch hit. And what they do is they make these holes on the mound that you don't want to land in. You could actually twist an ankle if it's too extreme of a landing spot there. And you can see those are big divots.
You know, the course of 8 innings, you can see pitcher's handiwork out there.
So they'll get that straightened out.
You know, Flash, it looked to me, you know, when we saw those drives of the game there, that Hannigan, the catcher, kind of keyholing on an 0-2 pitch, guessing that Sabathia was going to come in on him, because he hit that ball so well for an 0-2 pitch that sometimes, you know, those catchers are pretty smart. You know, the sequences they read. Maybe he felt Chris Stewart move in a little bit on that pitch, but it wasn't that bad of a pitch. I think Sabathia would tell you he'd probably rather get it inside a little more on 0-2, but Hannigan, the catcher, I think guessing right there. A big home run to tie that game up in that inning.
Yeah, you know, sometimes as a catcher, you're obviously in the game with your own pitcher on his pitch patterns, but you're watching the opposing guys. See, maybe you can pick up a tendency here and there. You know, and I've had hitting instructors tell me off of great pitchers, #1 type guys, pick out one pitch and forget about everything else. You know, you wonder maybe if he said, I'm looking for the fastball this whole at bat. He got it, he didn't miss it.
So Chapman watching the handiwork of the grounds crew right now.
See, the only problem with this right here on the grounds crew is, you know, when you wet down and throw in new clay, you watch Chapman, when he first lands, that all is going to come right out because it's wet, even though they had a chance to pound it. But certainly filled in the holes, and Yankee grounds crew did an excellent job. And after a few more pitches, you can see, you know, a big chunk might break loose there, although it looks like it's holding up pretty well for now.
All right, John, you watched Chapman yesterday. What would the approach be against a guy like this? I guess you just have to gear up for that 99-mile-an-hour fastball.
Well, you know, I was thinking about it when it was a one-run game, and my approach just from watching him yesterday, you're going to get a fastball, but what he was throwing fastballs for balls early in the count and would get you in a hitter's count at 3-1, 2-0, and obviously you have to look for it. Still hard to hit, but I would have been a little patient to see if maybe he would get in a fastball count where you can really gear up for that #1. But a guy who throws that hard, you know, you have to be so disciplined that to get a strike, because anything up in the zone, you just can't catch up.
Now, a little bit of a surprise, we see Mark Teixeira come out. He's going to pinch hit for Chavez, who's due up second. And Mark today was given his 3rd straight game off because of the bronchial issue that he's been dealing with, where any kind of exertion makes it worse and kind of makes him start to cough, and they're hoping that the days off have straightened him out. But you also don't want to give him too many days off because it shortens the Yankee roster. The Yankees have had trouble hitting, and he's one of the big bats in their lineup. So we'll see what he does after Swisher. Swisher's going to start it off, and these are the numbers on Chapman. He is not allowed an earned run. 38 strikeouts in 21 1/3 innings. This is his 18th game. So he's looking for his first save.
See the 7 walks there in 21 1/3. It's not brutal, it's not terrible, but seems like he gets behind a little bit earlier in counts.
He pitched yesterday, struck out Granderson, struck out Cano, and Alex Rodriguez popped to short. That was in the 8th inning. First pitch, a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. This one he takes something off at 96, gets it in there for a strike. Popped up. Votto. Wynn takes it. But he has enough room to make the play, 1 away.
Well, the tendency when you face a hard thrower like Chapman, you want to swing a little bit harder. As you see the wind again really taking this ball towards the seats. Votto able to hang in there and make the play. But if you're a hitter, you almost got to swing easier. You get ready a little bit earlier and just try to make contact and let him supply the power. A lot easier said than done.
There's Mark Teixeira to pinch hit. He's had 7 pinch hit chances in his career, 0 for 4 with 3 walks. And there he takes a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Nice to not play for 3 days, come off the bench and face that. Girardi has pushed the right buttons with pinch hitters this year, 6 for 19, which is 3rd best in the majors. Wilson Valdez comes into play 3rd.
Well, here you go, a hitter's count 2-1. This is where that discipline comes in. Probably going to get a fastball. Just make sure it's the one you're looking for, either down and in or out over the plate.
Grounded to 3rd, and Valdez, who came in for defense, picks it up, fires it past Votto. That was some play getting to the ball by Valdez as Mark Teixeira reaches. And they're going to give Valdez an error.
Teixeira could always hit a fastball. See him busted it down the line. Michael's right. Valdez just getting to this is an excellent play. Probably guarding the line here late in the 9th inning. And Votto, after picking everything the whole series, misses that one. And that was a tough chance.
So they do not want Teixeira to continue to run on the bases because that's what makes it worse, what he's been dealing with. They send out a pinch runner, and it's going to be Jason Nix. And now there's another pinch hitter as Russell Martin will pinch hit for Wise. Russell Martin had a home run yesterday and hit the ball hard. Another time run down in left field. To see what he's done this year, and he's really not done it at home. 5 for 50 here at the stadium. High fly ball right field. Bruce. And the Yankees are down to their final out. And they're going to send Andrew Jones the pinch hit for Chris Stewart.
This would be a nice little matchup right here. Andrew Jones loves the fastball against Chapman.
Chapman looking to nail down the save. Yankees down 5-2. And a strike. They are not holding Nix on at first. Votto wide of the bag and behind the base runner. So Nix could take second whenever he would like. And he likes to now. Pitches inside. So Nix takes second base on defensive indifference. That last pitch was 99 miles an hour. Again 99, count 2-1. A lot of people inquired yesterday, does the yes gun go over 99? Yes, it does. That's what he's throwing. If he threw 100, it would register 100.
He actually did hit 100 on one pitch yesterday.
Count 3-1.
The Yankees, you're just looking for a chance. Get Derek Jeter up there. One swing of the bat. Possibility of a tie game.
overpowered on that one. A 3-2. And the pitch. He struck him out, and that'll do it. Yankees lose this game 5-2. Johnny Cueto pitched well. He picks up the victory. He's now 5-1. And Aroldis Chapman picks up his first save. Stick around for the postgame show to find out who's today's Chevy Player of the Game. Power against power. And Jones swings and misses to the delight of Johnny Cueto. Well, the Reds come into Yankee Stadium and they 2 out of 3 from the Yanks. We'll come back, we'll wrap it up, and then send it to the postgame with Bob Lorenz and Meredith.